Welcome to yet another edition of the Smart Gamble. Good to see you guys.
Hey,
Good
it's
to
been a
see
while.
you.
It's been a little bit since we did our last show. It was right around the end of March Madness. But of course, anyone tuning in, you know these faces. That is, of course, Lily, the star of the show, joined by CJ and myself, Norm. And we're going to be here for the next half an hour, 45 minutes or so. And we've got a lot to talk about, guys. The occasion that we're back here for, of course, is it's a Kentucky Derby.
Derby, baby.
It's a Derby, baby, and this is a smart gamble. And horses, gambling, it goes hand in hand, guys, right?
Yes.
One
It
of
is
the
the
most
most
fun days of the
difficult
year,
of all
for
out.
sure.
Yes, people. I think throwing out the Derby is probably one of the days that non-gamblers gamble the most, right?
Yes, I would agree with that.
The casual fans come out on Derby Day, for
Right,
sure.
exactly.
Yep.
Everyone loves throwing some shekels on a pony, right? So I think we're here to help people out with that a little bit. But of course, at our heart, this is a football show. So we're going to start off with some NFL draft talk, guys, because the draft happened before we last talked, and a lot, even outside of the draft, a lot has happened.
Right.
It's been a great off season for the NFL. A great off season.
It really has. So I guess let's just jump into the draft. And I mean, we could sit here for hours going top to bottom, but I just want to delve right into it. What teams got better, guys? Because that's all that matters is the draft. You're supposed to get better. Who got better?
Well, let me jump in right away. I think it was kind of a surprise the way Baltimore handled its draft because first of all, before the draft started, they announced that they were trading Hollywood Brown, which is their best receiver.
Yeah.
And then they come into the draft and drafted about 12 guys, no wide receivers.
Yep.
But every other position was improved on that team. So I think Baltimore is definitely a candidate for getting better.
Baltimore has been one of the best run organizations literally since they came into existence. Since the Browns shifted over. It's funny, the Browns of all organizations shifted over to Baltimore and became the Ravens. And with under Ozzie Newsome all that time, they were so well run. And I think you're right there. I love Hollywood Brown, and I don't get the Cardinals trading for him, to be honest, either. I don't think that was a need. But the Ravens with all those picks, I completely agree. I'm going to throw out a team. This is going back to last season already. I'm going to seem like a homer of these guys. Not a homer because they're not my team, but I think the Chiefs got better. Speaking of another team that traded a wide receiver away and had a surplus of picks, I think the Chiefs got better because they focused on defense in that first round, which was their weakest last year. And they actually did take a wide receiver, unlike the Ravens, and Sky Moore.
Yes.
Who, you go watch his film, he looks awesome. And his name's Sky Moore.
To add insult to injury, I think that kid, he's a short guy. He's blazing speed.
Yep.
They got the same kind of guy that they've been drafting now for years with Tyreek Hill and so forth.
Yeah.
So same mold of a wide receiver, small and quick.
Yeah, exactly.
What about our Jets, CJ?
The Jets
They did well.
The Jets,
I think
I'm
they
really,
did.
really glad that they didn't fall into the trap of trading for Deebo Samuel and giving away a king's ransom to get Deebo Samuel. The Jets had 4 picks in that first on day one, and they cashed in on those 4 picks.
They did.
Trust me, they will be.
I mean, their worst graded pick was a B,
Yeah,
which was Brees Hall.
Which I don't think is a terrible pick.
No,
No.
I mean, he compliments Michael Carter. I think it was a great pick.
I love
absolutely.
Sauce Gardner. I think I think that's a team that absolutely improved. That's just such a young team that they just got to grow into it. We'll see what kind of leaps they make this year. I think not to be a homer. I think both New York teams did well.
Yes, I was just going to bring up the Giants for you, Norm. What do you think?
I don't think they're making leaps to be in a playoff team or anything like that. And I don't think the Jets, I think they're both kind of right around the same point right now where they're very young and they can make the leaps and they've got like 1 or 2 big questions. But I mean, you go look around at rookie of the year candidates, and Kayvon Thibodeau seems to be one of the runaways for defensive player of the year. That was the guy I wanted. I knew Aiden Hutchinson wasn't going to be there at 5. So Thibodeau out of Oregon was the guy I wanted. And they shored up the O-line. what more could you ask for in the first day?
Yeah, Evan Neal. I mean, if that guy walked into this room right now, the lights would go out. That guy is a massive human being, 6'7", 350.
Yeah.
So the Giants needed some offensive line help now for seemingly a decade. So he's going to
Yes.
help with that effort.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how the Giants decided to move. I think both of them. I think you look at the Jets and Giants. I think you can look at how these picks went, and it's like, all right, maybe the regimes in charge now know what they're doing.
Yes.
Let's hope
It's
so.
It's about time because the Jets have been, I mean, I love my Jets, but they have been one of the worst run organizations in the past several decades.
Yes.
They don't get it right on draft day. They don't get it right when it comes to trades or free agents, and they can't seem to retain really, really good talent on that team. So hopefully New York will become a better place, a destination again,
Right.
where people would want to play.
So on the other end, where our teams have been in previous years, what besides them, because they finally did it, what teams kind of made you scratch your head on draft day?
Well, I think the obvious one is the first pick by the Patriots. Some guy named Cole Strange, who I've never heard of.
Oh, when draft experts go, what?
And again, it's Bill Belichick, so he's a 7-time or 6-time world champion, so I guess I can't question it. But apparently this guy did very well in the combines, but he was a
Right.
3rd-round talent. He would have been around 3 rounds later.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could have gotten their guy and gotten some guys in the 1st round that were much highly ranked. So again, head scratcher, but we'll see how that goes.
I want to throw a real quick, if you got more to talk about, CJ, but you said Belichick. It's hard to like argue against the guy. I don't doubt, like I can't argue that. But that's when it comes to coaching for me. He has never been a great drafter. You look at the teams that he's built. I mean, sure, he's found guys that kind of fit his system. But I mean, the guy, we know he can't draft a wide receiver. He
No.
hasn't been able to do that. So I think some of like the slack he gets in his draft moves, I don't know if that's always deserved. He's of course the greatest coach of all time, but drafting, I don't know.
Yeah, I think. Get
Go ahead.
Lily.
Oh, okay. I think like the 49ers and the Browns both picked people that they didn't even need, positions they didn't even need.
Yeah.
And one of them wasn't even really good at his position. So I just that was like
Niners made some interesting choices, but that's an organization that I do trust. I do trust John Lynch to make those kind of picks, and it's like,
Yes.
I don't know if I agree with that, but it's John Lynch, so maybe I'll let that slide.
Yeah, and we'll get to the Browns a little bit later too. I have a couple of thoughts about some things that they did and things that they have not done. So we'll
Right.
get to the Browns in a bit.
I want to throw out a team, maybe not so much what they did on draft day, and I think I kind of already mentioned it. But the Dolphins, it's not so much what they did on draft day, it's what they didn't do on draft day, and that was pick. Because they gave so many picks away for Tyreek Hill. And so you can't get better outside of getting Tyreek Hill. And I just want to ask the question, like, Tyreek Hill's arguably the best wide receiver in the league, but were the Dolphins a player away?
Yeah,
You know-
I think with the Dolphins, I really, really believe that Tua, this is a make or break year for Tua.
Yeah.
And I think they decided that, hey, look, we're going to go with veterans around him through, free agent signings and trades and so forth, rather than depending on a guy who's 21 years old coming out of college to match up with Tua. So I think now it's like, Tua, get the ball down the field to guys who are proven to can catch the ball. If you can't do it this year, we're done. So I think that's what
Right.
their mantra is this year.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that have their heads on the chopping block. And I think that's something that Lily, you want to bring up. I mean, how many quarterbacks are in different spots now? Obviously, we'll talk about the rookie quarterbacks in just a bit, but you've got Matt Ryan on the Colts now. Russell Wilson's on the Broncos. Carson Wentz is on the Commanders. That's the first time I think I've said that.
That one's gonna be hard for me to kind of remember. It's the Commanders.
I know.
I gotta repeat it a few times.
I think this is the first time I've said that out loud. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. Of course, Deshaun Watson on the Browns too.
Yes.
I don't know if it's one of the things you want to bring up, CJ, but a lot of the quarterback carousel, there's a lot of quarterbacks that between those guys and between, Daniel Jones is another guy I didn't really mention. This is a make or break year for him as well.
Yes.
A lot of quarterbacks that either are looking over their shoulder at rookies or looking around going, I'm not going to be on this team next year.
Yeah, I think back to my Browns thought there. I think Baker Mayfield, a lot of people assumed that once Deshaun came in that he would be out right away. It would not shock me if he is on that team, on that roster
Really?
in September, because we don't know what's going to happen to Deshaun Watson. We have no idea as far as the legal proceedings.
That's
True.
true.
And I think that the Browns had opportunity. They had opportunity on draft day to trade him to Carolina,
Yep.
and they didn't get it done. And that should have been the easiest trade in the history of the world. They couldn't get it
Right.
done. So I am thinking that Baker Mayfield may still be a Brown in the
Interesting,
fall.
just kind of as like a safety blanket, just kind of like a
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
in-
You could
because
be
it's only
right about
one
that.
more year.
break glass in case of emergency.
Yeah, because I think a lot of teams right now they'll take him on their team whether it's a backup or a starter, but they don't want to pay him. And it's
Right.
only $18 million, which is not a lot for a quarterback.
And what are you going to get for him since he's got such a short contract? And Baker, he's gotten a Browns close to the playoffs and whatnot, but like he's not commanding first round picks.
Correct.
So is it worth getting a third round pick for a guy, or having a guy that's gotten you close to the playoffs in case the guy you did trade all your picks away for literally can't play for a year?
Can
That's
you
a good
imagine
point.
that-
I didn't think about that.
Can you imagine being Baker Mayfield and seeing the Pittsburgh Steelers pick a guy like Mitchell Trubisky, and meanwhile you're sitting on the sideline still without a job? That
We're
tells you
talk about him
how,
in a second.
how the mighty have fallen.
We're going to talk about him in a second. Before we do talk about the rookie quarterbacks, I know we want to talk about all the trades that did happen on draft day. We're kind of talking about them right now, but what trades did kind of stick out to you as good trades? We were talking about a lot of bad trades, but
I think what Philadelphia did to get AJ Brown was, I wouldn't say it's a shocker. It was a big name movie, so that's always a shocker to your system
Yes.
right away. But I think what we're seeing right now with wide receivers, that the wide receiver market has changed, and the bank is open now.
they
for
are
wide
the
receivers.
hot commodity.
They are, and AJ Brown is a hell of a good receiver, and
Yes,
I
he
think
is.
that it might have been a mistake in my mind for Tennessee to not to pay him, to keep him around. That this came down to money. He's coming
Yeah.
into the last year of his rookie deal, and he wanted to open that bank up and fill his pockets right away. The way Devontae Adams got his money, we'll
Mhm.
get to him a little bit as
Tyreek
well.
Hill, yeah, absolutely.
Tyreek Hill. And so I think he didn't want to play one more year on a deal that was kind of below what his ability was.
Yeah.
So that to me was a shocker of the day.
Yeah. I mean, the only quarterback taken in the first round was Kenny Pickett,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, going to the Steelers. And I
On to
think
the Steelers.
that's a great matchup. He's familiar with Heinz Field.
Yeah. Literally played
Yeah.
there.
I
Yeah.
mean, how much
Yeah.
better does it get for a player, a rookie?
Right. Yeah, these rookie quarterbacks. He was the only first round quarterback taken,
The only
Yes.
one.
and not only that, he was the only one taken in the first or second round.
Yes.
There was 0 second round quarterbacks, and we knew this draft class was kind of weak coming in. Like there wasn't that top 5 pick. Everyone's looking towards next year and whatnot. They need a quarterback, and I think that's why we saw so many quarterbacks traded and moved in the offseason. Is then Pickett, like, if you guys had to pick like the rookie quarterback that's gonna do the best? I guess maybe next year is maybe a little too slimming of an option because he might be the only guy that plays next year. But I mean, is he your go-to automatic best quarterback of this class then?
I'm still not convinced. I
Neither am
actually
I.
saw him. I
No,
saw
we'll
him when
see.
he was at Pitt this past year, and again, he's okay. He didn't jump off the page for me.
No.
So again, I mean, for me, it's a hard no as far as any rookie quarterback making an impact this year. It's a hard no. And Pickett may not have been the guy who I would have picked first. I mean, I was thinking like Malik Willis
Yeah.
of Liberty.
Yep.
Matt
He's my guy,
Corral,
too.
again, who's okay as well. He went to Ole Miss. He was coached by Lane
Yep.
Kiffin, so forth. But again, I'm thinking the rookie quarterbacks. It was a pretty dry draft year for quarterbacks, and now we know why.
Right. Yeah. And Desmond Ritter out of Cincinnati would be the other guy worth mentioning, I guess you could say. And he ended up in Atlanta. I think I like that scenario the most out of any like player that fits where he went. Ritter's
Yeah.
the guy to me. probably isn't going to play behind Mariota with Mariota there the first year, but like I think with what Atlanta's another team that I think they got better. I don't know how, like it's kind of hard not to.
Yeah.
But I think that's a team that's like moving in the right direction. But yeah, I would say the other three quarterback, like I think Pickett's gonna play because you mentioned he's got to beat Trubisky. But the other three guys are like, I like the fits of like Corral and in Carolina, you know, maybe sit a year behind Darnold, and all those guys sit a year behind the guys that are there currently, but none of those guys are cemented in their spots outside of maybe Tannehill. But I think he's got questions after the playoffs last year.
Yeah, and you were talking about trades earlier, and I think we were talking about the best trades. I think the best trade that was not made was Deebo Samuel, when that guy was in the news for the past week or so before the draft. I am glad that the Jets did not take the bait on that and take Deebo Samuel. I think Deebo, good receiver, and of course they use him as in that Deebo position, you know, running back as well as wide receiver. I think San Francisco would have been hurt in the short term. I think the Jets would have been hurt in the long term if they had traded several draft picks. It would have been a king's ransom to get him.
Yeah.
And I'm glad the Jets stayed pat and got those picks. And hopefully Deebo Samuel will continue to do some great things in San Francisco.
As a San Francisco kind of backer, I've really liked what the Niners have done recently. I'm glad he stayed too, because what he does for that team and he's the new like Cordell Stewart. Like you're just waiting for him to play quarterback now. He's slash. Yeah. It really, for a team that's like kind of, to me, one question away. It's a quarterback question, whether it's Garoppolo or Lance now. That's all they need to figure out to me for a Super Bowl run, for at least like making it to the NFC Championship game. And I think trading Deebo Samuel, like you said, would really hurt them short term. And I don't know if that would have been worth it. I get it. He's unhappy. He wants to be paid like a dude that does all the things he does.
Yes, and he also does not want to run the ball as much because he wants to save those legs, because he knows, as well as I know, that you get into your late 20s and all of a sudden your legs go up a cliff.
Right.
And he does not want to be like ineffective because he's forced to run it and catch it.
I wasn't an NFL player. I literally turned 30, had a knee surgery. But yeah, no, I mean, we look at wide receivers can play into their mid 30s and whatnot if they stay healthy. Running backs, they get to 28, 29, like you mentioned, and it's boom. You're playing both positions. He's going to be 28 years old. He's going to be out of the league. So
now, speaking of vanilla wide receiver, again, a great trade. Davante Adams going from Green Bay to the Raiders here. Again, we talk about that whole age factor. He is 29 this year. So I see Davante Adams. I mean, Raiders fans could be excited for the next couple of years.
Yes.
But after year 2 or so, I mean, he's going to be 31, almost 32. So you're going to get to the point where he's going to become a little bit less effective. So I think the Raiders strike while the iron is hot now, this year and next year.
And you're going to also find out how much of Davante Adams was Davante Adams or how much of it was Aaron Rodgers.
Correct.
He's a great wide receiver. I'm not trying to discredit him, but Rodgers just makes dudes better. It doesn't matter who you are.
Exactly. I can catch 1,000 yards in the NFL being thrown passes from Aaron A-Rod. So.
All right, guys. Well, I think we're touching on some of them. We're talking about who's going to be good next year. Let's do some way too early predictions, guys. I love doing this. It is May 7th. It is Derby Day. CJ, I don't know what it's like out there in Vegas, but Lily, I know out here in Eastern Pennsylvania, May 7th, it's like 45 degrees and raining.
Right.
Let's talk. It feels like football weather out, so let's talk about Super Bowl.
Even though I'm wearing shorts.
Listen, I'm wearing jeans because I got to go out right after this. But like, it's May. Let's go. 80 degrees. Let's go. But let's talk about, guys. We talk about who's better, who's worse. Super Bowl predictions. I want to hear them right now. What do we got?
Well, based on the way things happened last year, the way things ended for the Buffalo Bills, I think that they are the team that is ready to take that next step in the AFC. And that AFC is loaded. Trust me, it's got like about 10 teams who can get to the playoffs and so forth. But I think it's Buffalo's year, or at least it has to be Buffalo's year. Because if they don't get it done this year, they can start to go the other direction and start to lose players and so forth. So
Right.
None of us mentioned them getting better though.
Yeah, but they had decent picks. They really did.
You're right.
Yeah, and
I think the running back they took, they might shore up because the backfield's been a question mark right now. So I think, yeah, it's a make or break year for the Bills.
yeah, they also got a good leader on defense in Von Miller. And again, I'm not quite sure how
Yes.
effective Von
Right.
Miller is going to be, but he's a good player.
He's
He's a good
Yeah.
in the
leader.
locker room.
Exactly. So I think that, at least from that question, the whole leadership thing, they got better there.
So that's, I think, so that I'm gathering that's you and Lily's AFC pick. I'm going to throw out, people are going to be, oh, Chiefs again. I'm going to throw out the Chiefs.
Okay.
Obviously they were
Kinda hard
there
not to.
last year, and I think they did, outside of trading Tyreek Hill, I think they're able to fill that position still up with, moves that they've made, and just because they've got so many other weapons. And then I think they shored up that defense enough that they are an actually improved team from last year, and they were in the Super Bowl last year. So why not put them right back in there? But I'm right there with you, CJ. You could throw 10 teams in this AFC slot, and I wouldn't argue with them. Where it comes to the other side, the NFC slot, I'm like, can I choose another AFC team?
Totally.
Yeah, well, as far as the NFC goes, I do like the Niners. I'm a Niners guy. Now, again, some people would automatically default to the LA Rams.
Rams, because
I think they're going to be good again. I don't know. I don't think either team that was in the Super Bowl last year, the Bengals or the Rams, are going to get there
the
this year.
Bengals. Yeah, the Bengals were in the
Yeah,
Super Bowl
I
last year.
agree.
I don't know what I was talking about.
I don't think so either. I don't think either team is going to do as well this year,
Yeah.
record-wise too.
I don't think they're going to do Super Bowl. I forgot they were in the Super Bowl last year. They beat
Yes.
the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think Bengals or Rams. I'm right there. The Niners, if they can figure out, if Lance could either take the step or if Garoppolo can just do enough and stay healthy, I'm right there with you. Does anyone want to mention the Bucks since Brady decided to come back?
Yeah, you got to put Tampa in there, no doubt about it. And again, Tampa probably might be the favorite in my mind in the NFC. They might be the favorite.
I think if you go to the books right now, I think I wrote Bills are the favorites at plus 650 right now for a Super Bowl pick. Bucks are second at 750, and then Chiefs third at plus 950, and then Rams and the other team that we haven't mentioned, because again, their quarterback decided to come back when we didn't think he would. Packers, both at 1100.
Yeah.
Packers, anyone? I know, Lily, you were a big Packers fan last year.
Yeah. And they're talking about Aaron retiring after this season.
Right. Who knows what's going on with them, and they lose Devontae Adams. So I'm staying away from the Packers this year.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and maybe it's time to mention America's team for one quick second here. Does Dallas have any chance whatsoever to take that step up? Because they will need to take a step up. Trust me.
They were right.
They
there.
I got the top 5. They were, I think, like 7th or 8th on the odds list at like plus 1700. I think they're worth bringing up.
Hmm.
You good odds on them right now, and I don't think it's that crazy of a thought.
Yeah, their problem is up here.
Yeah.
They have a lot of talent, but up here is where that problem is. So we'll see
Right.
what happens with Dak and the boys
Right.
next year.
All right. So, any MVP candidates? Way too early MVP candidates. Guys in new places, maybe, or same faces. Who knows?
Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Great minds think alike, Lily.
I'm a Seattle fan because my sister lived in Seattle for many years, so I'm a Seattle fan too, and a Russell fan.
Yeah. So now he's in Denver, so
Now-
he'll
yeah.
I don't
take his
care.
magic to
Yeah.
Denver.
Denver's
I
going to
mean-
be a good team this year.
They will.
I think him moving from Seattle to Denver improves his chances because he
You got
won a
it.
Super Bowl and made another one when the Seahawks, when he was on his rookie contract, and the Seahawks were loaded on defense and had some great wide receivers also around him. Kind of sounds similar to what the Broncos are right now. Got a good defense, and you go and trade in, not that the Seahawks wide receivers were terrible, but you go and trade in and then get Jerry Jeudy to throw to, Cortland Sutton to throw to,
Hmm.
Tim Patrick to throw to, and some decent running backs behind you. I think Russell Wilson's my favorite as well, Lily.
Yeah, I'll also throw in Josh Allen of the Bills as well. I
Yes,
think Josh
yes.
Allen's going to do well. I think they have to ride on his back. If they're going to do anything this year, it's going to be because of Josh Allen. So he's going to be in the mix as well.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hard to not to. I mean, if we're going to mention them as the Super Bowl favorites, then the quarterback of that team's got to be on there. All right. Any potential surprises that you think might happen in the NFL season? Didn't see that on week 1, but here we are, week 17, and this is what happened.
Yeah, I like the mix of teams in the AFC South with Tennessee and Indy. I wouldn't say they would be a surprise to me, but if those two teams went very deep into the playoffs, it's going to be because they have a lot of guys on that offensive and defensive line. They are the same team in my mind.
Strong
They
in the
run it
trenches.
first, great defense, good quarterback play. And again, they have a much better quarterback in Indy this year than Carson Wentz was theirs. So I think they can go far. So we'll see how the AFC South shapes up.
Yep.
I'm gonna throw out something. This might surprise all you guys.
Okay. Ooh.
Can the Lions be competitive next year?
Oh,
Well, you know something. I think Lilly is a better quarterback than Jared Goff, and so
that's my one thing is if now here's the thing. There's two things that can happen. You gotta remember Jared Goff did make a Super Bowl.
he did.
yes, they did.
I'm right there with you, CJ. I think he's a bad quarterback, but he did get to a Super Bowl. If he can be just competent enough, I think the Lions are starting to build a team around him. I think they're maybe a year or two away. I'm not talking about making a Super Bowl, but in that division where I think we just mentioned, Packers I think they're going to be in the playoffs, but Packers are not quite as good as they used to be.
Right.
Vikings seem to scratch a lot of people's heads sometimes. But if they can stay healthy, I know they're a good team too. But the Bears are rebuilding right now. I think that's a fair thought. I think in that division they can be competitive. They can be around 500, which I think would surprise some people.
It would. First of all, the other thing too is that they have the dumbest coach in the history of the NFL, no doubt in my mind. But if this coach and if that organization decides, hey, look, Jared Goff, we're going to de-emphasize you throwing the ball, and we're going to run it first.
DeAndre Swift, baby.
Be a Ryan Tannehill, be other quarterbacks who hand it off first. Let your defense play games and win games for you. Maybe you have a point there.
The second thing that I mentioned, besides maybe Goff just being competent enough, I don't think we're done seeing some quarterback moves. You already mentioned it. Baker Mayfield is a possible move that could still happen. The Lions are a possible standing point there. What also then about maybe Taylor Heineke, because Washington seems to have their quarterback now. So there's guys out there that I think are better than Jared Goff.
That's true.
May still end up in different places, Detroit being one. So that's why I want to throw that out there.
Yep. Pretty cool
All
take.
right, guys. I think it's time to talk some Derby.
Derby, baby.
And we're doing this show. I think Lily is the expert, of course, of every show. But when it comes to horses, it's all yours, Lily. And explain the background you got.
Okay. First of all, I just want to mention a little known fact that Kentucky Derby betting is only legal in 34 states.
Oh, I thought it was
that's surprising, right? I thought it would have been
50. Yeah,
that's what I would have thought too. But I have a passion for horse racing. First of all, because they're Hayden's cousins. Hayden is cousins with every animal and stuffed animal in the world.
We miss Hayden.
We miss Hayden.
I miss Hayden. I'm away right now. So, but actually, I mean, the most important reason, of course, my family owned racehorses. Now, they owned standardbred racehorses. The difference is the horses in the Kentucky Derby are thoroughbred. The jockey rides on the horse. Standardbred, the driver, which is the jockey, rides behind the horse in the sulky.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I grew up. I grew up, I was the age 13 to 18 when they owned the horses.
Wow.
Well,
So
knowing where you grew up, that's a big horse racing area. So yeah.
Yep. So, you want to talk favorites?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about favorites.
Well, the number one ranked favorite is Epicenter. Now, Epicenter definitely should be ranked number one. Has the most wins under its belt. and he's got this trainer. I want to not butcher this name, Stephen Asmussen, I think.
The trainer names are tough sometimes.
He's a Hall of Fame trainer. This would be his first Kentucky Derby win. So that's an interesting.
And I
Situation.
want to throw out, you like him. That's something I've noticed too. No Bob Baffert horses this year after last year.
That's
'Cause
no Bob
he's
Baffert.
suspended for the the winner was a Medina Spirit getting the drug, so he's not no Bob Baffert horses. This opens up a chance for one trainer like that to win finally.
Right. But also, there are two of his horses that were transferred to the other trainer. Yaktine, I think is the name. I don't remember. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it.
We'll forgive any pronunciations when it comes to trainers and jockeys.
But those two horses are pretty much favored. That's Messier and Tabo, I think I know I might be mispronouncing it.
Dandon, I think is another is the
Yeah,
other favorite.
Zandon is, I think it was 3-1
3 to
odd as
1.
of this morning. I
Right.
think Epicenter also right around 3-1.
Yep.
So they were definitely in my little collection of best horses as well.
Yes.
Okay, so the second ranked second favorite horse is Zandon.
Yeah.
Now this horse is coming off of a major win. He was, and I will explain what this means. He was in last place. He won by 2.5 lengths. Now a length is a horse. So he was in last place and won. He beat all the other horses by 2.5 lengths. That's incredible. That's almost never seen in horse racing. So I like this horse. That's Zandon. Now the number 3, this horse is amazing too. Mo Donegal. Okay, now
Right.
he's got a Hall of Fame trainer too. And he's the son of a champion, Uncle Mo, as well.
Oh, that good,
So-
good reading, or yeah, good genes then.
Yeah. So, I mean,
That always helps.
yeah, he's got some major races underneath him too. So the top 3 are the top 3 for a reason.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And,
Yeah, I mean,
and it's kind of interesting. There's no sometimes there's like a runaway favorite that like everyone's gonna bet on. It seems like there's a couple horses that are pretty close to each other. There's no for sure
yeah.
fire favorite this year.
Yeah, and Mo Donegal, the number 3 ranked, is actually out of the 1 hole. Now, when it comes to thoroughbreds, I would say the top 5 horses are at a disadvantage. When it comes to
being against the
standard
rail.
breds, which is what I grew up watching, the top 5 are in the advantage. So like with the thoroughbreds, the
stuck against
outside
that rail,
horses
yeah.
are the ones that have the better chance.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to explain that. So my possible long shot would be Zozo's ranked 13 out of the 19 hole. If you bet $25, you'll win 500 on this horse.
Sounds like good to me.
I mean, this is only going to be his 3rd career start. Oh, I'm sorry. When he was actually, he set the pace against Epicenter in a Derby.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so he came in second, Epicenter won.
He
But
can
he
hang with one of
actually
the
set
favorites
the
then.
pace for it. Yeah, he
Mhm.
set
Yeah.
the pace for it. Now Zozo's is actually a long shot.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
I like this horse.
Believe 20 to 1 odds right
He's-
now.
Yeah, I'm seeing
Yeah.
21 in the live odds. Bozo said, you're right. He finished second behind Epicenter in the Louisiana Derby.
Yep,
So
that
yeah,
was his
great.
first loss ever. So I like his odds in this. I like him as a long
Some
shot.
people love taking those long shots. So I mean, I guess speaking of favorites and long shots, let's make some picks. CJ, I guess you and I will make some quick picks, and Lily will take us away then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like, again, Lily mentioned a couple of horses that are on my list. Epicenter and Zandon if we were to go win place show, I think Epicenter and Zandon are going to be in those top couple of spots. I like a 10 to 1 odds right now, White Abarrio. And of course, I have a personal interest in this one because the trainer is actually from the country where my parents grew up in, Barbados, in the Caribbean.
Nice.
Yeah, his name is Safi Joseph. He actually won the Barbados Triple Crown as a trainer.
Nice.
So I have that horse in there as well. A couple other horses that I could mention. Again, I mentioned Lily mentioned Mo Donegal, who lost to White Abarrio in the Wood Memorial. So again, Whitemire has some chops as well. We mentioned Messier earlier. If you're a hockey fan, Mark Messier is my favorite hockey
Rangers,
player of
baby.
all time. It was an 8-1 odds as of this morning. So again, that's another strong horse. But if I'll give you my top three, as far as win play show, I would say Epicenter to win, Zandon number 2, and I would go to White Barrio to sneak in there and go to the show play.
Yeah.
And let me give you a little background on White Barrio. He was at a modest purchase of $7,500. Now, they purchased these types of thoroughbreds for like $1 million.
Yeah,
Yes.
Hundreds of thousands, million, whatever. So for $7,500, and just to give you a point of reference, my parents, when they bought their yearlings, they bought 3 yearlings. In 1982, they were $1,500. So for a thoroughbred to go for $7,500, that's insanity.
That
Crazy.
That's unheard of. And his only loss was at Churchill Downs, by the way. So that's kind of, I mean, I really like that horse too. That's the only thing giving me a little
Little
reservation.
pause, huh?
Little pause.
Little
there, yeah.
reservation. Yep.
All right, so I don't have the knowledge as you guys do. So my pick, when I always try and make a Derby pick each year, but I try and look up the horses and stuff like that. But when you hear my pick here, and I don't even do the win play show, I'm just gonna pick one horse to win. Simplification sounds simple enough to me. 13 is my lucky number. I was born on June 13th. There's my horse.
That's actually not a bad pick, Norm. That's not a bad pick.
Listen, and as I mentioned in the start of the show, you get so many casual bettors that bet on the Derby that don't really bet on anything else. When it comes to like the NFL, like I actually try and put thought into it. I love to just have a horse in a race, so it makes that 2.5 minutes or however long it is really exciting for me. But I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to the horses. So I'm going to listen to you guys. Maybe I'll take your guys' advice. And I think everyone else listening and watching should too. But I always like to have at least one bet on the 13 horse if it's not scratched. And maybe pick a name that I like. And you know what? I like both of them. So simplification, 20 to 1 odds too. So, hey, it's worth a long shot.
Nice.
There we go.
So what everyone really, obviously the expert here when it comes to NFL, but definitely horse racing, as you can see, is Lily. So the lock of the week, I believe you've got an exacta for us, Lily?
Yes.
All right.
Let me explain
what that even is to someone.
What an exacta is. Means you're picking the first and second place horses. Now, in my case, I'm going to box it, which means that either one of the horses I name could come in first or second. Okay, so I would do an exacta box on Zandon, because that's a horse with a hell of a heart to come from last and win by 2.5 lengths. Gotta love it. I love that horse. And I'm also looking at a horse that none of us even mentioned.
Uh-oh.
And let me tell you why. It's a Japanese horse. First Japanese horse to be in the Kentucky Derby. Only once beaten. He's a UAE Derby winner in Dubai, and that's what actually qualified him to be in the Kentucky Derby. Okay, so he's got that accomplishment. Then he could be the first horse since 1883 to win the Kentucky Derby on his 3rd career start.
Oof.
So I'm really liking this horse, and he has been training and drilling like crazy at Churchill Downs. So he's doing really well training. So I'm really liking this horse.
Which horse was that?
Crown Pride.
Okay.
Crown Pride. Okay.
He's ranked
So that's
9.
the 7 horse. The lucky number 7.
Right. He's the 7th hole. Yeah, I might have said that wrong before, but yeah, he's out of the 7th hole.
All right.
I like
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
That's listen to that.
But let me tell you about horse race betting. It is the most difficult sport to bet on. It's
you've got
if I get
literal
one
wild
horse right,
animals that you're betting on.
if I get one horse right, it'll be a miracle. Seriously.
Right. It's
Seriously.
literally you have the question of do the things you're betting on know that they're in a race? You know. Obviously, when you've got athletes that are competing, they know they've got that. And I know this is the whole other tangent to go on, but yeah, you're betting on an animal. But what makes it so fun because anything can happen.
Right. And anything does happen.
And anything does happen. And hopefully we have a clean winner this year.
Yes.
Right.
We don't need
No-
the nonsense
no
that happened
juicing.
last year.
No, we don't. We don't.
All right. Well, that does it, guys. That was a fun show. Kentucky Derby, NFL
Love it.
Draft.
Love it.
That was.
Get a little entertainment here in the beginning of May. And if you want any more entertainment, or if you want to go back and watch some of our NFL shows, or stay tuned for when we might be doing some other shows. We're talking about maybe doing either a Belmont show, NBA Finals show. So we'll be back here probably in about a month or so, if not sooner. The best way to find out when we have those pop up is to hit the like and subscribe button on either YouTube, Apple, Spotify, however you're watching or listening. Check us out on social media at The Smart Gamble, everywhere you can find us. And of course, if you want more picks and find out any information on us, the literal best spot to go to is thesmartgamble.com. That's our website. Go there. You can get some picks from CJ and Lily, and just find out more about us. And also the YouTube links are on there as well. So
And our email
thesmartgamble.com.
address.
Yes.
thesmartgamble@gmail.com.
And thesmartgamble@gmail.com to email us if you want to reach out to us, or leave a comment on the YouTube page as well. Where, however, we're open. We're an open page. Reach out to us if you want. So for CJ, for Lily, I hope everyone enjoys the Derby. And it's been a fun time, guys. Again, getting back on the saddle. I did not even mean to make a horse joke, but there we are.
Love it, Norm.
Don't
Love
have
you
any
guys.
too many mint juleps, guys.
Mint juleps, yeah.
Yeah.
Get your big hats on. Get a mint
Yeah,
julep
next
in
time
hand.
I'll have mine.
And we will talk to you next time.
Okay. Love everyone. Thanks for watching.